Jerusalem, ancient place of pilgrimage and holy city for three faiths: Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Venerated and fought over for centuries, today it's divided in two, between the Israeli West and the occupied Palestinian East. Christian Aid has worked to help the poorest people here and across Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory since the 1950s. Today we work with more than 20 Israeli and Palestinian partners, with Christians, Jews and Muslims, to support the poor, protect human rights, and help build a viable peace based on justice for all. In the Arab-Israeli War of 1948, around 750,000 Palestinians fled or were forced from the land that became Israel. We were there to provide aid to them, the first time that Christian Aid worked outside of Europe.
There are Christian centres for the distribution of food throughout Lebanon, Syria, Jordan and the Gaza Strip. In 1 year alone, over 1,300 tons of food were distributed.
After the Six-Day War in 1967, between Israel and neighbouring Arab countries, Israel occupied East Jerusalem, as well as the rest of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
احنا موجودين في شرقي القدس في مخيم شقفات اللاجئين اللي تهجروا في 48، وعلى يسارنا مستوطنة مسقات زئيف والجدار الفاصل بفصل بيننا وبينهم.
East Jerusalem was annexed by the Israeli government in 1967. Today there are about 75% of Palestinians living in Jerusalem who are under the poverty line.
طبعا احنا بنعيش في المخيم هنا بسجن تحت احتلال. الحصول فيها على الخدمات وعلى الحقوق صعب جدا. ما فيش في إهمال، يعني وكأنه أنت مش موجود، يعني كل السلطات الرسمية بتتعامل معك وكأنك مش موجود.
Christian Aid partner ACRI has successfully lobbied the Israeli government to provide better services here, like school buses for children who travel every day across the separation barrier to schools in other parts of Jerusalem.
ACRI was established 42 years ago. It's Israel's largest human rights organization and its oldest, and we work in the entire spectrum of civil liberties and human rights, so essentially protecting anyone who's influenced by the policies of the Israeli government.
The separation barrier, which Israel began constructing in 2002 in the name of security, was deemed illegal by the International Court of Justice because it is built on occupied territory. Crossing the barrier is a daily struggle for many Palestinians, who sometimes have to wait for hours at a time.
This is Kalandia checkpoint. Most of the people that you see going through here, they're men going on their way to work. You will also see women and children going through, children going to school or to university.
Christian Aid's partner, the Ecumenical Accompaniment Programme, organises international volunteers to witness life under occupation and to help lobby for justice and peace.
Ecumenical accompagners are here to be a protective presence, to monitor what's going on, to monitor human rights violations, and then we send that information to agencies like the Red Cross, the UN.
Scattered across the West Bank, more than 500,000 Israelis live in illegal settlements. They're altering the very map of the region, fragmenting the West Bank and acting as a major impediment to peace. When illegal settlements are put together with roads and closed Israeli military zones, access to approximately 60% of the West Bank is severely restricted for Palestinians, those parts in orange. Many Palestinian villages find themselves almost entirely cut off.
المستعمرات الإسرائيلية المحاطة بالقرية هاي مستعمرة هون، مستعمرة هون، مستعمرة هون، مستعمرة هون، ومستعمرة هون. اسمي نورة أمين سعد، عمري 26 سنة. زمان من أول ما ولدت هون في بيت اسكاريا، من وقت السيادي ومن وقت جدي، يعني احكي وقت ولادتي وأنا هون في بيت اسكاريا. بتحس إن أنت كل ما عم تكبر بسنة بتشوف المستوطنات بتزيد 10 مرات، بتحس بخيبة أمل، فيش إشي بعطيك أمل، بتحس بعتمة المستقبل.
Christian Aid Partner, the YMCA Women's Training Programme, has been working with villagers here to find out what they need. The result is a whole range of activities designed to help villagers meet the challenges of living under occupation.
كل الناس اللي هون فقراء، فرص العمل محدودة وقليلة، لهيك فكرنا نعمل المصنع علشان يساعد في خلق فرص عمل. بعد ما أخذنا المشروع أنا حسيت بتغيرات على شخصيتي. هاي التغيرات مثلت في إني أنا صرت أقوى، صرت أكثر ثقة بنفسي، صرت أواجه الصعوبات والمشاكل اللي عم بتصير بقدرة أكبر.
Across the West Bank, the proliferation of Israeli settlements is pushing Palestinian farmers deeper into poverty. Settlements take a disproportionate share of water and have access to international markets that Palestinians can't reach due to Israeli restrictions on movement and exports. Christian Aid's partner Park supports farmers by forming cooperatives, providing training and helping them to lobby for access to markets.
تستمر الإغاثة في في مساعدة النساء الخاصة مثلي في تعزيز صمودهم في منطقة الجفتلك. الإغاثة الزراعية موجودة مع الناس طبعا والمؤسسات عايشة معهم هون، بتشوف مشاكلهم، بتعرف شو الناس بدها وشو بتعاني منها، والمشاكل هاي بترجمها لمشاريع لأشياء يعني بحاجة إلها المزارعين في الجفتلك.
Palestinians don't only face challenges inside the occupied territory. 20% of Israeli citizens are of Palestinian origin.
I am one of about 1.5 million Palestinians in Israel, but I am also an Israeli citizen.
Palestinian Bedouins have lived here in the Negev, southern Israel, since before the State of Israel was created. In 1948, during the Arab-Israeli War, many fled or were forced to move to the West Bank, Gaza, and to neighbouring countries. Many of those who stayed live in villages that are unrecognised by Israel. They are amongst the poorest people in the country.
I live in Asir, one of 33 unrecognized villages. Being unrecognized village is having no infrastructures, no services, no running water, no electricity, no landline phones, no roads, no clinics, no kindergartens, no schools, nothing. They prevent us from even having the basic services here. And people have to find solutions by themselves, have to improvise all the time to solve their problems and deal with the daily life here in the desert, which is very harsh, very hard.
Villages are under constant threat of demolition.
We had demolition orders in all the village. 70 families, 500 people were all under demolition orders.
Christian Aid Partner Adala is a legal centre working to promote and defend the rights of Palestinian Arab citizens of Israel.
Adala was here from the first day. They were accompanying us in the Israeli court. We succeeded to cancel all these demolition orders.
Hebron is the second largest Palestinian city in the West Bank. Approximately 500 Israeli settlers live in the heart of the old city, alongside Palestinians. It's under Israeli military control, with soldiers stationed to protect the settlers. Everyday violence and harassment often goes unseen here. That's why our partner B'Tselem, an award-winning Israeli human rights organisation, started distributing video cameras to vulnerable Palestinians to capture the realities of life under occupation. The films they make both expose and deter human rights violations.
اسمي عماد أبو شمسية، عمري 45 سنة، عندي 5 أطفال، أسكن في تل رميدي. من خلال حملي للكاميرا قدرت أولاً أوثق الاعتداءات اللي بتصير على بيتي بشكل يومي تقريباً كانت في هذيك الفترة، وقدرت كمان أوصل معاناة أهل المنطقة والأطفال والشيوخ والنساء اللي فعلاً بيكونوا مرين من هاي المنطقة.
شو مالك؟ شو مالك زي حلي؟ زي حلي.
أنا أول إشي يعني بشعر إنه يعني كإنسان إنه أنا بدافع عن حقوق هذا الإنسان.
Geographically separate from the West Bank, but part of the occupied Palestinian territory, is the Gaza Strip, home to nearly 2 million people, the majority of whom are refugees. Slightly smaller than the Isle of Wight, it's one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Since 2006, when Hamas was elected into power here, Israel has imposed a strict blockade that collectively punishes the whole population. As a result, more than 75% of people in Gaza now rely on humanitarian aid.
My name is Azam Saka. I work for Christian Aid in Gaza, supporting Christian Aid partners to do their work. I have lived in Gaza all my life, and Gaza is very dear to my heart. It's my favorite part of Palestine. My friends and family are all in Gaza. The blockade means that you never know when you're going to have electricity at home. No electricity means no water supply. It means that the streets before the blockade used to be really busy, and you'll find it empty. The level of unemployment in Gaza is unprecedented and skyrocketing now. The economy is not moving.
Gaza and southern Israel have become the front lines in an ever more violent conflict between Hamas and Israel, with thousands of rockets fired indiscriminately at Israel from Gaza and 3 major Israeli offensives in less than 7 years. The conflict in the summer of 2014 killed 1,492 Palestinian and 5 Israeli civilians. Whole neighbourhoods in Gaza were destroyed, and more than 100,000 people were made homeless.
It's a terrifying feeling, especially that nobody knows if they're going to survive or not. And even if we are going to be killed, am I going to be killed on my own or together with my family? And these are questions that keep resounding in my head. Those 51 days of war felt like forever. For a second, I thought nobody's going to make it alive out of that conflict. I've lived here in Gaza like all my life, and I have never ever seen anything like that. The level of destruction, and like literally nowhere was safe. There was like no shelters, nowhere to run to. You have just like to wait and pray and wait for your fate.
Christian Aid partners work tirelessly during and after the conflict, often risking their own lives to get desperately needed aid and medical care to people. They continue to work with some of the most vulnerable communities whose lives have been forever changed by the latest conflict.
Children have seen their loved ones being killed in front of their eyes. They've seen bodies blown into like pieces. At least 300,000 children were like traumatized and need psychological support. The Cultural and Free Thought Association is the only organization of its kind that is working in the Gaza Strip and providing an alternative, safe spaces for children to live like and practice like a normal life. This makes me like restore hope and makes me believe that even if what we are doing like looks like a drop in the ocean, but it's a very important drop in the ocean.
Christian Aid and our partners believe in and hope for a better future, one free from violence, oppression and poverty. Our partners stand up for their beliefs, often at great cost, to bring about positive change in people's lives. If Israelis and Palestinians are to be truly secure, and to end the poverty that degrades the lives of so many, the occupation must end, and everybody must be treated equally. Our hope is for a region that's based on justice, equality and peace for all people, regardless of who they are.